This is my take on my Disney World trip back in October of 2014, being a 30-year-old Disney virgin. I went there with my wife and mother-in-law and sister-in-law. And if you watch any other videos, you know I started off saying that as well, but I figured just in case you haven't watched some of the other ones, you kind of get caught up. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about Disney Hollywood Studios, or MGM, depending on how old you are or how you remember this particular park. We went to this park only one time, and I don't know if it was because for us, we had to take the bus to get over there, and, while the buses are great, it is a little longer than taking the monorail to like the Magic Kingdom or to Epcot. But we went there one day. We spent the entire day there. We only walked like 7.36 miles while we were there. So I can't say if it's because it's so close together, or at least the attractions that we went to were so close together. One of the main things that I noticed as compared to some of the other parks, because we had done a couple of the other parks already by the time we went to Hollywood Studio, is that Hollywood Studio kind of lacks a lot of shade. It's definitely meant to feel like a Hollywood backdrop or a Hollywood set. The buildings, like you can walk down New York City streets, which was kind of funny standing there at the corner and watching everybody like jaywalk and do their New York accents. They're really, really bad Brooklyn, New York accents. Go, hey, yo, I'm walking here. And just kind of shaking my head. That was interesting for me. It was fun, but there's not really any shade. If you can find shade, it's a hot commodity. Likewise, if you watched my Magic Kingdom video, my Magic Kingdom videos, you'll notice I talk about some of the restrooms that I was able to find in the Magic Kingdom that were kind of like less trafficked. I really didn't see anything. The few times that I hit the head while I was here, didn't really find anything that was like not so trafficked. Maybe in the Sci-Fi Theater, but you need to have reservations to get into the Sci-Fi Theater to even use their bathroom. But we'll get to that a little later. So to start off, the first ride that we did at Hollywood Studios was the Great Movie Ride, and it's kind of a classic. It's a must-do. There's been rumors that they're going to get rid of it as of filming in 2014. They have not gotten rid of it, and you definitely want to do this ride. It takes you through a lot of the early classic movies, because there wasn't anything really too recent in there. But it's a sit-down ride. It does have audience interaction, and it's air conditioned. So you can't go wrong with a ride that has air conditioning in a park that has very little shade and lots of sun. Another one of the shows is Muppet Vision 3D. If you've done Mickey's PhilharMagic in the Magic Kingdom, it's kind of in the veins of that, but it has less sensory stuff like Mickey's PhilharMagic has. So you don't get sprayed in the face with water, because I don't think I mentioned that in the talk about that, but it happens in PhilharMagic, not so much in this. This is definitely a 3D show. There are 4D components that happen every now and then, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. Again, it's an air-conditioned show. You sit down, you watch it. It's very entertaining and well worth doing. It's classic Muppets. If you grew up on the Muppets, you will love this show. Don't think twice about, going in to see the show. It also had like very, very low wait times. Another thing that may or may not be there too much longer is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It's a playground designed to look like you have been shrunk in the backyard. Believe it or not, my mother-in-law has a tendency to film all of the rides. Now, this is a ride, quote-unquote ride, that she did not film when she was younger because she had to keep track of her kids. So she has a little problem walking now. So the filming fell to myself and my wife. So it was very interesting watching two 30-year-olds crawl through this thing that's designed for children, so my mother-in-law could have it for her video records. Wife said she remembers going through and climbing through that thing like she was a monkey back in the day. Not so much when we were older, and having a book bag and trying to film one-handed and climb through this was not an easy feat, but it happened. I'm not going to put that in here because there's too much footage of my wife and my sister-in-law, so sorry you don't get to see that. But no, it was fun. It would be even more fun if you were a child. And there are still parts that you can do as an adult walking around the outside. That the main climbing part is some rope jungle thing, so you can still walk around and enjoy yourself. Just don't go through the rope thing. Let your kids go through the rope thing. Don't think you can do it. I thought I could do it, and I'm moderately athletic. It was not easy. It was not fun. It was not easy. It was fun, but definitely not easy, especially having children run past you. It reminds you how old you are. That just makes me sad. Okay, so moving on. Toy Story Midway. This is kind of like Buzz Lightyear Star Command, only better. It's also going to have one of the longest wait times in this park, and it's well deserved because it is a awesome fun ride. Like, I did not want to go on this because we had done Buzz Lightyear back in Magic Kingdom, but they convinced me to fast pass it and to go on it. It is so much more fun. It is, 1, 3D, and 2, easier to find, easier to see where you're shooting. Back in the Magic Kingdom one, I had made reference to particular animals, and those were wrong. The animals were for this ride. I screwed up on my notes. My wife is apparently very good at these games and beat me on this ride as well. Both times that we rode it, she was like cat and I was a beaver. I forget what the pointage is like that. But unlike Buzz Lightyear Star Command, which you push a button and it shoots, this you have to pull a string because you're like pushing ping pong balls at targets. So you get virtual ping pong balls, all 3D. It is crazy fast, crazy fun, and if you can, fast pass this ride. It's worth it. It's different. And the wait queue for it is very interesting too. It's like you're going through, Andy's room with all the toys and stuff like that. So do it. I enjoyed it. You will enjoy it. It doesn't matter how old you are. Okay. Star Tours. This is my wife's favorite ride in this park. I will agree. It is my favorite ride in this park as well. However, the first time I rode on it, I did get, I don't want to say sick, but the first, trying to think how to do this without giving away story. It has 50 different scenes that can be put together to make, I forget how many hundreds of different episodes, but they all start off the same. You are trying to escape Darth Vader, and that first scene with Darth Vader, he force grips your shuttle and shakes it around a lot, and then you jump to hyperspace. The first time we went on this ride, because we went on it like 5 times, the first time we went on this ride, I was not expecting it because it's in 3D too. So I don't know if it was vertigo or vertigo and motion sickness, but when we were doing the jump to hyperspace, I actually had to kind of look down at the floor for a little bit because it was a bit intense. However, after I figured out where I needed to look, I think I was trying to look a little, try and take in too much, so it was messing with my eyes. The 4 other times that we went on the ride, I didn't have any problems, and it was well worth it and fun. There was one scene that we got 2 of the 4 times. It wasn't the greatest scene because, if you're a Star Wars fan, Jar Jar, why? Although admittedly, there is a portion of that underwater scene, I don't want to spoil it, which is really cool and will scare you quite a bit. But that's enough about that. The Star Tours movie, or the Star Tours ride, is definitely one that you need to do while you're there. Wait times are moderate, and the gift shop, if you're a Star Wars fan, is just full of Star Wars merchandise for you, including building your own lightsaber. I think this is like the first place my wife also got souvenirs for herself. Was she got some Star Wars pins and some cards because she loves Star Wars, and this is the place you go if you love Star Wars. There's also like a a speeder. Yeah, there's a speeder bike out front you can sit on and take pictures. And something I I like Star Wars, but I don't know all of the vehicle names, and it's an Imperial Walker, I want to say. So yeah, there's one of those out front. If I'm wrong, you can let me know in the comments. I'm probably wrong. My wife's not around. I can't ask her right now, so I didn't write it down on my notes. Last bit I'll say about the Star Tours ride, because like I said, it's my favorite ride at not MGM, Hollywood Studio. It does a nice blend of both 3D and real stuff. So you've got C-3PO is real, but everything you're seeing outside your shuttle window is 3D and screen, but cool. And there is a little audience participation in this one too. Not going to spoil that. Last ride that we did was Rock and Roller Coaster. Now this park doesn't have as many rides as some of the other parks, but these are the ones that we hit when we were there. Rock and Roller Coaster was consecutively a ridiculous wait time. Like just always over 90 minutes. We went back late at night when the park had extra magic hours. Yeah, it had extra magic hours. So we went back, and even with the extra magic hours, which is only open to people who are staying at the resorts, the wait time was like 90 plus minutes. We went and stood online 40 minutes before the park closed, and it was still like 30-minute line. They were telling people, it's like, no, you can't come online anymore because the park is closing. We managed to scoot on just before they did that. And I will admit, Rock and Roller Coaster is a crazy fun ride. Deserving of the wait time, maybe, but I don't know, because we started to stand online, and when we heard it was going to be 90 minutes, we're like, no, we're not doing it. Going back, managing to wait 30 minutes, it's well do. It is a fun ride. You have to do it if you can stand the wait time, or if you can go back late at night. Try and do that. That's the best way you're going to be able to get onto this ride. It's one of those like 0 to 60 in like less than a second ride, so it launches you. The picture we have of when we went on the ride is it's funny because it's the picture. I'm not going to put it in again, like I said in the other videos. I'm trying to keep family exposure in these to a minimum as they request. It's my wife and my sister-in-law, myself and some guy, and then behind me is a little kid, and just he's got this look of abject terror as this thing is launching, and it was so fun. This is one of the only rides, I think, at Walt Disney that inverts, so you go upside down on it. So I would not recommend bringing a book bag onto this ride. I saw some guy do it. I have no idea how he did it. I wouldn't have done it, but he brought a book bag onto this ride. So if you enjoy Aerosmith and you like really, really fast rides, I would definitely recommend, if you can stand the wait, or if you can come back during magic hours where it's a less of a wait, to do this. And it's deep in the park, so if you're going to come back during extra magic hours, just make sure it's like you sprint there. So that's Rock and Roller Coaster. And the last bit of information I have about Hollywood Studios is we went to eat. We had reservations at the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater. So this is like a classic 50s drive-in. So there's a screen which has a 45-minute loop of cartoons and advertisements that you might have seen during a drive-in. I remember going to a drive-in with my parents when I was very, very young, but it was in the 80s. So it was nothing like in the heydays of the drive-in theaters. The food was good. Had a milkshake, had a burger. Milkshake was great. Burger was, a burger. It was also tasty. Sci-Fi was another place that did, you could get a free cup of water, ice water. This one actually was filtered even better than Casey's. So if you don't want any of that Florida taste, Sci-Fi is the way to go. They don't have as many soft drink assortments. However, if you order a cherry Coke, they will load up a regular Coke with a whole bunch of cherry syrup, because that's what my sister-in-law got, and it was delicious. You should do it. I believe they'll also do vanilla. But it's cool. You sit in a car, and you watch movies and have dinner, and you have a car hop. It's awesome. You should go. Make reservations. It's a great place to eat. So that is everything that I remember about Hollywood Studio. Again, this is like a month later, so I'm trying to recall as best I can off of some notes. Didn't go on Tower of Terror because I don't like heights, and I really don't like things that drop you. And if I ever want to use an elevator again, I just decided not to go on Tower of Terror. However, I did get a picture of it while we were waiting for Rock and Roller Coaster at night. Looks really cool. But yeah, didn't go on that. Saw plenty of people, heard screaming, looks fun, but not for me. So that's all I got for this particular park. If you've got comments, or I missed something, or you disagree that Tower of Terror was awesome, and regardless of if I'm scared of heights or not, I should have gone on it, you can let me know in the comments area below. Yeah, thanks for watching.